All right, we're live. Let's see if somebody check over on Mac to the Future, and I will check on my own page.
Yep,
there it is. I don't know. I got a notification.
It's there.
Boo-boo, ba-boo, ba-ba-ba. Okay. And I would go over to check on YouTube, but I don't care. All right, go into the countdown, I think. Yes, I am. Tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast, go. You know, it's kind of fun when Jennifer Gardner or Samuel Jackson asks, but when various TV services do, not so much about what's in your wallet. And how much are you spending on various TV services as compared to before you cut the cord? Also, is Facebook ashamed of its blatant attempt to deflect their own data appetites onto small businesses? What do you think? Tonight, that and more on the Mac to the Future livecast. Go. What's in your wallet? Hello, everyone. So far, the show has gone swimmingly, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with my superior live casting skills. No, it's got absolutely nothing to do with that at all. It has more to do with the fact that we have a full crew tonight. Everyone is here. Well, you know, everyone that's been here before, including Mr. Dave Ginsburg. Hello, sir.
How are you? I'm doing well. Good to be here, and Happy New Year, our first show of the year.
Yep. And remember, I do not have a banana for a head tonight.
No, you don't.
I do not. That's a good thing.
It's probably good that it doesn't work on StreamYard.
Yeah. No, actually, I could make it work. And I will prove that I can make it work before we go too much further. And we also have Mr. Warren Sklar. How are you, sir?
Confused. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. But
well, you will know. You will know soon. Because I am setting it up even as we speak.
Gotcha.
If you go back to watch Mac Voices Live, you'll find out.
Yeah. I'd rather not, so I'm good.
No, it's okay. You'll find out. You'll find out very, very soon. Right. So let me get rid of that. Hello, goodbye. There we go. And that's gone. And now we are back to all three of us. How is everyone doing tonight?
We're doing well.
And in case there was some question, see, this is the banana.
Oh, Lord.
There was a what he used to do, Jimmy Neutron, but he also did this movie called Kung Pao Enter the Fist, and he had like a thumb, an actual thumb that had a face on it, kind of like this, and now you can it'll just do it with you not doing much of anything at all, just through regular filters and stuff. But isn't that fun? So much.
Warren looks just excited.
You look stunned. And good evening, Facebook users. Remember, technology is great.
Marcus said it's not creepy at all.
It is not. It is not. And if you want your name to show up with your Facebook comments, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Click OK to let StreamYard display it. And that's all you got to do. That's it. And that is not what is that, Warren? What is that not?
It's not a clickable. You cannot
That
click the
was
link.
not a clickable link at all.
If you try to click it, you'll probably close the window out of us. So don't do that.
Yep. And Facebook user said that's not creepy at all.
Facebook
and
user
there were so many more faces that I could do that I did on poor Chuck's show last night.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. I don't know how Chuck felt about it. He was a good sport. Okay. We have a couple of things to talk about before we get to the main topics. Dave, why don't you start us off? Because I think you put this one in there.
I did. OWC started shipping their new Thunderbolt 4 hub. It works absolutely awesome with the M1 Max, my Mac Mini. I have the new Mac M1 Mac Mini, and here it is right here. I got it right on camera here, and it's got
it's blue.
It goes white when it's not plugged in, and blue to tell you that it's on, plugged in, and then blue when it's plugged into your computer. You got three ports right there, plug into your devices, and you got one USB a 3.2. That's 10 megabit speed there.
I wonder why they only had one. Why they only put one in there?
Well, because of having three of these. I mean, that's the whole reason for this thing. And
it's the reason
nice
for this season. I've got one.
I even tried it. Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
Okay. I tried. I also tried it plugging into my iPad, and it works beautifully. So you can hook up 3 drives on here and be able to access all 3 of them in the Files app. So it's nice.
As long as your device has a Thunderbolt port, you can use this. It's essentially a Thunderbolt hub. It's wonderful.
The iPad doesn't have Thunderbolt.
The iPad doesn't have it, but it's USB-C.
Right.
Yeah. So it's using the same.
It doesn't have
size connector.
It just it doesn't have to have Thunderbolt, because if it works on the iPad, it's using USB-C.
So,
because it'll work better if it is
Thunderbolt 3 and then Thunderbolt 4, which is the new standard. Which there's not too many machines out there right yet. If you God forbid use this on a PC, it has to be Thunderbolt 4.
God forbid. Oh no. All right. Also, Google. Go ahead, Warren.
I'm saying I want one, but I'm waiting for them to get a little smaller. That's a little big, and you got.
That's the only downfall to it. You do have a 20-volt giant power brick, and it's literally a brick.
It is. It's huge.
So you don't. It's definitely something it'll be sitting on your desk. I don't know if you'd want to be traveling with it much. So
no, defeats the purpose, because I got the Air with the 2 ports, and I got the Pro that has 4, so it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about this on Chuck's show last night, and I kind of wish that they had gone in a different direction and had somehow incorporated the power supply into the device itself. Make it, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Make it bigger so that, you wouldn't have needed such a huge brick. Obviously they couldn't make it powered through the Thunderbolt hub, because that would have been too big of a draw, especially for something like the MacBook Air, M1 MacBook Air. But I think that by having it as just a plug-in device with just a single cord instead of this big brick, it would have been a lot better.
Yep.
However, I'm happy that it's there because of the lack of ports otherwise on a lot of these machines. All right, Google is planning to update iOS apps with privacy labels. Let's see, what is that? Soon. What?
Soon they're going to put privacy labels soon. They had not updated.
Okay.
They had not. I should put they had not updated that since 12.7, since Apple added the privacy settings. So it was interesting that was the first article saying that they hadn't even added the privacy. They purposely didn't update their app because they didn't want to have to. Then they would have been forced to add the privacy settings that Apple requires. So now today, they say that they're planning on updating their app, so Google is to reflect what privacy they have and what they don't have, which is no privacy, and what they share. So that was interesting to see where that goes. I'm sure they're going to have to release it sooner or later, because Apple's not going to let the app sit out there for long. So.
And the thing is, most people aren't going to care. They'll just go, "Oh, okay."
No one cares.
They'll hit all the check boxes.
But Apple cares.
Yeah. And the thing, if something happens to your data related to these applications, you won't be able to say, "Well, Apple didn't protect me," because they will have done everything that they possibly can, and you clicked off of it that said, "Okay, well, company A, B, or C, or in this case, F or G, can share all of my data.
Right.
Okay, M1 Mac laptop market share currently under 1%, but a website called TrendShare says it will be over 7% by the summer. And I think that the only thing that's really holding back market share for M1 Mac laptops right now is availability. I don't think it's because of, people are like, should I get one or not? I think it's just because they just can't get one, that they're selling out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They're out there. Yeah, they're available. You could get them at the stores if they wanted it. And third parties are getting them. I think it's more because people are just waiting to see at this point
What the next version
is going to be out. Yeah,
but I was at Costco today for completely different reasons, and I was at the little Apple desk that they usually have. iPads, not a problem. Buy them right then. iMacs, right there. 16-inch Mac laptops, Intel base, not a problem. 13-inch M1, out of stock. So
I'm looking at Apple's website here. Let's see if I do. If I order it today, I could get it in 2 weeks still for both models. So, it's 2 week. It looks like normal for delivery, 2 week kind of thing.
Well, you could just go to the Apple store and buy it there. Oh, wait.
You can. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Apple Store and the Apple website. And when it comes to buying things,
yeah,
it's not updated truly. So these stores, Apple. So my store now converted to the Apple Express. Just recently, they put a separator between the main store and the front of the store is basically like a kiosk kind of thing that you go in, and there's 4 people that you could go into, and you can walk up and you can ask them if they have things in stock. So I was looking for a black version of the band I have, which I really like, and on the website they're nowhere. You can't buy it, you can't order it. If you order online, it's like a 2-month wait. But if you go there and you say, "What do you have?" They have them. They have a whole bunch. They had a few of my different sizes. I could have got one a little bit smaller, but I decided not to. So it's the same with the laptops. If you walk into some stores, you have to make a reservation. Some stores let you walk right in. If you go in, say, "I want a MacBook," they'll have it.
Okay. Last quick take story we have for the evening. Apple touts the success of its various services. This is a story in Apple News. I guess this is directly from apple.com. Apple services entertain, inform, and connect the world in an unprecedented year. And so it's mostly just going, hey, we're great because Apple TV is wonderful. Ted Lasso and Greyhound and Dance Monkey lyrics and I don't know. And as far as they talk about podcasts here, but frankly, Apple's support of podcasts have been pretty abysmal for some time now. I really don't think that even though they were the ones that they're called podcasts for a reason. It just seems like once they realized that there wasn't going to be a whole lot of money in it for them as far as services go, they pretty much just ignored it. They took out some of the cool features that was in GarageBand, for example, that made podcasting a lot more fun, including video support. And it just seems like that podcasting is no longer a really big focus for them. What do you guys think?
No, I kind of disagree with that. I think they really want they're really still pushing to get the podcast app more mainstream. A lot more podcasters still want to be listed in quote unquote iTunes store. That gives them the opportunity to be listed in the directory. So that's because you look as a podcaster, you look and see that the number one place that most people are listening to podcasts is through the Apple Podcast app. So And I could give numbers of what my podcast does. We got probably something around 45 or 50% is coming from there. So there's people still using it because they've got it set to automatically download episodes, and they have subscriptions, and yeah, granted, you have a lot of other podcatchers that are out there, but that they're still a pretty dominant force when it comes to podcasts, I think.
Well, remember as well, though, that you're talking that your podcast and this podcast and some of the other podcasts that we do are more Apple focused. So it would kind of make sense that our podcast would mostly be downloaded from an Apple podcast aggregator. What do you think, Warren?
I think most people listen to podcasts on Apple devices. I think it's been that way forever.
Right.
I use Apple, their podcast app. I like the fact that it, and I know others do this too, but it natively will sync between my iPad and my Mac. So if I open up the podcast app on those devices, it will sync it and kind of remember where I've left off, which is good. I think Apple, it works fine. I mean, it doesn't do anything fancy. I don't listen to it on my watch, so I listen on my phone in my car. They're also doing that. They do a daily news briefing every morning.
Yes,
which I do listen to. It's Bonita Zozita, and
that can't really be her name.
Is Bonita Zozita?
Bonita Zozita?
Gennardo, somebody.
Okay,
that's who they are. I don't know, but it
sounds like a kid's song, Bonita Zozita.
I'll have to get their actual names, but they're cute and peppy, and they're very pretty much non-excitable. So it's pretty much it's just a nice little show. So that's from Apple. I wanted to try Spotify or a different one as a podcaster because my car has that built in, does not have Apple podcast built in. So I was going to go that route, but I just decided to pair my phone. So it's all good that way.
Okay. Moving on to the main stories. Are we saving any money yet? Now, before cutting the cord, I was spending about $130 a month on what amounted to basic cable with some sports thrown in. And I kind of thought that was too much to spend for that. So I cut the cord with my cable provider and went strictly with streaming services. And to get ready for this discussion, I started to look at some of the services that I'm currently using. And I was kind of surprised by what I came up with. Now, for me personally, and we'll go into what you guys do in a second. I've got Netflix, which is $18 a month. I've got Hulu, which is that's Hulu plus Live TV plus Disney plus ESPN plus, which sucks, and of course Apple TV, which is sort of $5 a month, but I added Showtime and CBS All Access for another $5, which, but because I'm also using, what is the top tier Apple service thing called? That's
premium.
Yeah, whatever the premium, that includes Apple TV. So I'm not even really sure how much I'm actually paying for Apple TV anymore, but it came out to about $10 before Apple's premium service came out. I also use a local service called Lowcast that includes all of my local channels and all the rest of that. It's like $5 a month. You can use it for free, but it interrupts it. Yeah. It interrupts it a lot if you don't pay for it.
It's a pain. As soon as you change channel, donate to us right away.
Yeah. So it was either like don't use it or pay the $5, and I use it enough to where it was like, okay, $5.
They're always on the border of possibly going away. I think they have.
Yeah, well, there's like lots of lawsuits that could spring up against them at any time.
Especially because they play, if a football game is playing, I don't know if they're allowed to rebroadcast it, but they do. So,
well, I think part of the reason why they're still around is that the law is somewhat vague on rebroadcasting rights. What is a rebroadcast? So, as long as they're including all of the advertising that would originally be included with over-the-air broadcasts, I'm not sure that they actually have a leg to stand on. I'm talking about the networks that Locast is putting out there. The other thing I also have is Amazon Prime, which comes to $10 a month, but that also includes a whole bunch of other things that Amazon gives you for that same price. So I'm not really sure exactly how much, if you wanted to break out Amazon Prime's TV service from everything else that they do, I'm not sure you could. But what I came down to in the final analysis, I'm spending about $120 a month for a pretty confusing array of services that I used to get kind of from cable, except for exclusive content from Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, Showtime, and Amazon Prime. So I guess it's still worth it. What do you guys use? Let's start with Warren. Warren, have you cut the cable or are you still on cable?
I am still on cable. I've thought about it, and my wife is, the cost isn't a big deal as much as her being able to watch things that you can't get on streaming services or things you might be able to get on there. Like she likes to watch HGTV and some of the other things that I don't like to watch. But
aren't those available as applications?
Is somebody doing dishes back there? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
I heard somebody doing dishes. So she uses say that again. What'd you ask?
If those services that she likes to watch beyond basic cable or beyond what the streaming services offer are available as applications.
The last time I checked, they weren't. So
okay.
I looked into the one that came close was the YouTube TV that was out there, but I don't know much about it. And
it's still out there. I can give you info on that.
Is it still out there? So
Yep.
and then
Hulu, isn't it kind of like really expensive as compared to some of the other services?
Same as Hulu.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So I mean, I've priced it out as far as dropping TV and phone and just keeping the internet service with Fios, and it's not that much different. I mean, it's maybe I think if I cut the cord completely, I wouldn't be saving that much money with adding services, and I would be making my wife's life a lot tougher trying to find all the things she needs to find, and it's not worth it.
Nail on the head.
I mean, for me, if it was me alone and not her, I could do it, no problem. I could figure out how to get anything on any device, and it's not a big deal, except for football, which is a problem because I like to watch the NFL games, and when you cut the cord, I think you need Hulu to watch that. How do you watch your games?
Live. I watch, and it's mostly just the games that would mostly be available through Locast, except for Fox. Fox isn't on Locast anymore for some reason, or at least not in this area.
And a lot of NFL games are on Fox, so that would be a problem.
Yeah, but I have Hulu Live, so
Hulu Live has the local channels.
Yes, and I also get games that are being broadcast on ESPN. ESPN Plus as a service is completely useless unless you like watching documentaries about sports. But there's very little in the way of live sports on ESPN Plus, which I kind of started off because I got Disney Plus, and it was like, oh, they're offering CBS All Access and ESPN Plus for just this little bit more money. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went ahead and got that. And then I found out that it's completely useless when it comes to watching the live sports that I want. No college games, no NFL games.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, there's apps out there like the NFL Network, the NFL app.
But you still got to pay for it though. There's
again, it's more steps, the more hoops to go through.
It's just a lot of hoops to go through. So, how much is the Hulu Live? Because my neighbor has
$65.
So you're paying that's a good amount of money. When you start adding the other things up, so you got $65.
You get a lot though. You get the difference between Hulu and Hulu Live is pretty significant.
No comparison.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have to check that out. But then we also get the Netflix, we also get the Amazon, we also have HBO.
Yeah.
So these are all things, and with HBO cable, I get HBO Max for free, which is included, which is a nice thing too. So, I mean, I think if I went cord free, I would make my wife pissed at me, and I would be saving maybe $50 a month.
Well, I know my wife likes watching a lot of reality TV, I guess you could call it, the Bigfoot shows and the alien shows. And, a lot of it that's on Discovery and the Smithsonian Channel and things along those lines. And there are separate applications for those, but they're actually kind of a pain in the ass to use. And what we've found is a lot of these shows are now also being rebroadcast. And, because of the nature of these shows, it doesn't really matter if you catch them when they first come out, but they're being rebroadcast on through like regular YouTube, not even the premium YouTube. So you can find a lot of it there.
What still needs to happen? I know Apple tried and it didn't work, but all TVs need to be like an Apple TV, with an Apple TV kind of app where everything that you pay for is just consolidated into one guide, more or less. And you could, and if you're paying for the service, you could either tell the remote what you're looking for or what channel to turn to, and no matter you could connect all your services to this one platform, and it will be an easy way for that platform could go out and start, streaming whatever it is you're trying to get to.
Because that works with the Apple TV app, with the exception of Netflix doesn't include their stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Amazon Prime does, but there's other services besides Netflix that also won't let Apple TV list their content. They want you to go to their application. They want
what about
you to
Hulu? Does Hulu do that too?
I would have, I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to go and check that.
Right.
But
so if there's something out there, and it would probably need to be developed by somebody other than Apple, Netflix, or Amazon, it would have to be kind of like almost like a cable consortium to do something like this. We create some kind of ecosystem where you could turn on the TV, and when you set up your TV, it says what services do you subscribe to, and you say this, and this, and then you have a guide, like a normal what's live right now, and then you have a way to find out what movies you could get or what shows you could get, and not have to go through all these apps. So that's what Apple was going.
They tried to do. Yeah,
with the Apple TV app.
Yeah, they are able to aggregate a lot of those channels to the Apple TV app right now. I mean, I go to watch CBS All Access or Disney Plus or a lot of the other services. They're all right there in the Apple TV app. I don't have to go to their app because they just bring you over to their app is basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. But it's still, I mean, you got to get it today.
It's not every service though.
No,
so
but
not every service like Netflix doesn't participate in that.
See, non-tech people are like, they just want to look at, the TV, and I say, listen, I want to watch Real Housewives. Right. I don't need to do this. I just want to, I know this is my life. So when I say reality shows,
I was talking about Bigfoot and aliens earlier.
So when you said your wife watches reality shows, I'm like mine too, but she watches like rich housewives being assholes, more or less.
I don't see how that's different from Bigfoot and aliens.
I don't know which one's better. She watches one now where they're on a boat. There's they rent out a yacht, and the captain, and it's the whole thing. It's a whole
drama. Yeah.
But anyways, that's my point. When my wife or a normal user could watch whatever they think they are entitled to watch without having to jump through all those hoops to do it, that's when streaming is going to happen. And believe me, the cable companies are going to be on board with it. And they're not losing money. They're going to be part of it, and they're going to,
Well, I mean, they're still part of it because they're still providing the pipes. They're still providing the access to all of these apps. So, I mean, I went from, I could have cut my bill down even more if I had stayed with the, I think it was 80 up, 200, 250 down service I was getting through Fios. But I went to the gig for like $100 a month, and it's made a huge amount of difference in accessing all these services.
Oh yeah. That's why I have the gig up, gig
Yeah.
down, and
Even though
I mean,
you never see that speed, but it's certainly much faster
I
than
try.
the next tier.
I try, but I could plug a network cable in from the router. I could get about 800.
Yeah, wired. I get close to a 900.
Yeah,
Comcast.
All right, so somebody here also put in stuff about Pluto TV, Redbox. I'm guessing that was you, Dave. All right, well, fill us in on that.
Well, Pluto TV is actually an interesting service. It's got a lot of all kinds of old TV shows and movies, and that has news. And so they aggregate a lot of interesting stuff. You can get addicted pretty quickly. I mean, it's funny. They have some dedicated channels to One Day at a Time and The Love Boat, and just crazy.
Soon we'll be making another run.
All the family, and they have all these old classic TV show channels. And then they have news. They have movies. They got a James Bond one. So they've really done an interesting thing, and it's free. You could just sign up, and there might be some content in there you might like. Is
this an app that you can have in Apple TV?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Apple TV, Roku. I mean, they're available on all the. Out. Yeah, it's Pluto TV is interesting. Redbox.
I was just gonna say you reminded me that I opened up TikTok for the first time yesterday, and you said you could get hooked onto these things. It was 3 hours later, and I'm still watching it, and I just said I'm never doing it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. You got to walk away. Redbox, which is, Redbox, obviously we all know Redbox was or is that they were, you go to those kiosks and you can rent DVDs. Well, they've been dabbling into the streaming market. So they are streaming movies. No one knows about it, but they do. They're trying to compete with Netflix, but they won't come anywhere close. But they also have a free TV service as part of their service too, and they've got the same or similar types of services like Pluto has. So you can watch all these shows as well. So you've got a couple of those options. There's another one called Tubi, Tubi. IMDb has another one I don't even listed on here. That one isn't on Apple TV, but you can see it on
Roku.
The Fire Stick. I just got another Roku I've been playing around with. I didn't see it available on the Roku. It might just be on Fire TV. But another one that they have. So there are some out there. There are some of those free services out there too. And then Discovery Plus just got launched 2 days ago. So they're trying to get their service and already bringing one original content. And so that's another $7 a month if you want the commercial free. So and you got Peacock TV, which is with me, I get that just like with HBO Max. I have HBO. I get that for free. It's included with my subscription.
Honestly, Peacock TV is a service that I can get behind because they're doing exactly what I've been saying all along that these services should be doing, which is, okay, if you want to watch our stuff for free, that's fine, but you're going to get ads. If you don't want to see ads, you give us X amount of dollars, whatever it is,
premium, and
we take the ads away. That's how all of these services should be. And when I heard about Discovery going, okay, well, our ads-based channel is $5 a month. If you want it without ads, it's going to be $7 to $8 a month. It's like, wow, you guys you still don't get it. CBS already tried this, and it was an abysmal failure. I mean, they're still around.
Well, yeah,
but they've tied themselves into. But they've tied themselves into all these other services now because they were pretty much failing on their own. People weren't going to spend $5 to $10 a month to get Star Trek Discovery for the most people. Right. I mean, I was doing it because it's Star Trek. Even if I didn't like it, it was Star Trek. It was Star Trek.
Season finale comes up this Friday. I have already canceled CBS All Access. So once it ends, I'm done.
Well, did you watch Lower Decks? Did you like Lower Decks?
I because it's a cartoon, right? I'm not a huge fan of animation when those types of shows. I should give it a try. But
I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I thought that Lower Decks was the best Star Trek on TV, aside from the Orville.
Yeah, I never got into that either.
That was basically, the Orville was Star Trek: The Next Generation with penis jokes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Seth MacFarlane. So it was fun. The Orville is a fun show to watch. If you liked Star Trek: The Next Generation, chances are you'd probably like the Orville. It's not that different from it.
I
Just
liked it.
set up with jokes.
I like the Orville. I didn't watch the other one.
Yeah.
What, Lower Decks?
Then,
I don't like Star Trek. I'm not a Star Trek person.
Okay.
And one other thing I'll be mentioning about Peacock is because it's owned by NBC Universal, which is Comcast. I'm a Comcast subscriber, so I get the premium for free, and it's included. It's included with that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's probably Marcus.
Whew. Okay.
So Peacock does have a lot of great content, and they just got The Office now. So Office is off of Netflix, and if you're an Office fan and want to keep watching it, you have to have Peacock now.
Yeah, but you can watch it for free with ads,
right?
Which is how they all should be. That's how they all should be.
Yeah.
All right.
Think how big Comcast is, and they can afford to do stuff like that with these others. So even you look at Disney too, I guess. They're charging for their stuff, but they have all the stuff they have is more or less.
Yeah, but they're not showing ads. Disney Plus isn't showing ads. There's no ads.
$7 a month for Disney Plus. It's no ads.
Right. But remember the sheer insane amount of content that Disney Plus has. I mean, putting aside how much content
Marvel, Star
Netflix
Wars
has
their
and
catalog.
Hulu has. Yeah, you've got Marvel, you've got all the Disney stuff, you've got all the Star Wars stuff, National Geographic. I mean, there is almost always something that's worth watching on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian was almost. Oh my goodness! Holy crap! You wouldn't know. I just got a COVID shot on Monday. No, Tuesday.
I got mine last
yesterday.
week.
I think it was yesterday. Yeah. So my second one I'm supposed to get on the 22nd. But you've got all of this incredible content that's available to you, and they don't have a free version of it, but they're also not showing ads. I don't mind if a premium service charges you for not having ads, as long as they're not showing ads and trying to charge you. That's what ticked me off about CBS All Access. That's what going to tick me off about Discovery Plus and all of these other services that think their content is so wonderful that people are going to pay them to see it and pay for the ads. I think that's just so much hubris that they shouldn't even do it. All right. Anything else on that subject from either one of you?
Nah.
Okay, well, lo and behold, Facebook is still unhappy with Apple, guys. This is a story from BuzzFeed. Facebook, in the face of overwhelming criticism, is trying to frame its unhappiness with Apple's data privacy stance by framing it around protecting small businesses, saying that small businesses will suffer immensely if they can't track potential users across the web while they browse. Apart from those businesses is like saying not throwing out chum to attract sharks while surfing is hurting marine life. Oddly enough, many of Facebook's own employees seem to be equally uncomfortable with this stance, believing that Facebook is using small businesses as a shield to defend their own practices, and they would be correct. Facebook has scaled back this narrative as criticism from all corners, including many who, for their own reasons, dislike Apple, has been pretty much a public relations nightmare. Now, it wasn't just, there was one other thing they were trying to do along with this. There was the small business angle, and then there was, what was the other one? Do you guys remember what it was? There was another angle that they tried to use. They were both completely ridiculous.
They did the newspaper ad, and they did that's all I remember. The newspaper.
Yeah,
ad.
but there was one other thing that they were trying to do. I can't remember what it is now, but the oddly enough, politics makes for strange bedfellows, as Facebook and the game guys, Epic, have I guess have been in talks and they're, I guess, forming some kind of weird alliance to say Apple's business practices are bad and for their own personal reasons. But this kind of goes back to the story you were talking about, Dave, with Google not updating their applications because they're afraid that if they do, they'll have to give people the option to opt out of their services or the services that use or that gathers data on their users. So
opt out of the privacy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you guys can talk now.
Yeah, I mean, we've beaten this subject to death. I mean, it's just Facebook is stubborn. That's their business model. And Warren and we've had debates on this before. I mean, that's what Facebook does. That's what Facebook does, and they should have a right to do what they want to do. That's that way they make money.
Sure.
They don't. That's how their ads are generated. By harvesting all that data from their 200 billion subscribers or whatever they are. So and that's how they incentivize it. So yeah, it's still going to be a debate, and Facebook's still going to be bellyaching about it. But
well, how many people do you think would actually opt out if it meant that they couldn't use some of Facebook's services or Google services from, say, well, I don't want them to gather all this information from me? How many people do you think would actually opt out of it?
And it could probably be a fair amount. I can't say it's going to be a lot of people, but should be a fair amount of people who don't want their information shared. But they still have to understand both services make money based on by advertising, but knowing what you do and how you use their service.
But would you, Warren, would you drop out of using a lot of services from either Google or Facebook if it meant that you couldn't use them based on what your privacy stance is?
I can't envision what you mean by removing parts of the service. Like, give me an example of either Google or Facebook.
Okay, well, say Google says, well, because of how we monetize groups in Facebook, we're not going to give you access to groups, which meant you wouldn't have access to Mac to the Future. You wouldn't have access to any of the other groups that you belong to. You would still have your connection to your own page and to your friends' pages, but not necessarily to the groups that you may or may not spend a lot of time in.
Right. It would be probably turned around, actually. In real life, groups are probably non-profitable where your individual timeline is, because you're
right, because you're getting ads.
Because you're actually, you get the ads and you're actually in the timeline, and you're showing interest in things rather than in a group, which is specifically targeted. But in any case, yeah, if they took something like that away, I would not opt out. That's part of the reason I like Facebook. I like the Back to the Future group. I like other groups that I'm in. And that's part of why I use the service. So, and Google, maybe they get rid of your Gmail if you don't opt in. I don't know what they would do. But
well, they could say you can't use Google Write, or you can't use their storage, or you can't use, because Alphabet, as the parent company for Google, has like a ton of different services out there that's all free for people to use.
Google would be a little bit easier to break down a little bit, but it doesn't matter with Google because every one of their services is basically a way to track you, and that's what they do. So Facebook is hard. There's no real, you can't really break it up. I mean, it's not like Google where there's complete different things you can break up.
Entities within the same parent company. Facebook is Facebook.
It would just be weird to be able to not access a group or not be able to do something on Facebook. I don't think anybody do. In any case, with these privacy labels, 99% of the people are just going to say accept and download the thing anyways, and not even care, because people just want to get to the app.
Well, do you think that that by publicizing how much data Facebook or Google actually are getting off of people, that they're kind of exasperating their own problem, that if they just kept their mouth shut, said, okay, Apple, well, we're going to give people the option to opt out, but they won't be able to use these particular parts of our service. If they do, that most people would just say, oh, okay, well, I want to use those services, so they would opt in.
I think Facebook and Google will say if you opt out, you can't use the service at all, and they could do that too. Mm-hmm. And then people can make a decision whether they want to do that or not. I mean, with if you're there downloading Facebook, I think the whole thing is just Apple saying, "Listen, we told you. That's all we're doing. We told you what's going on. We don't care that you want to take their private information. We just want to let them know that that's what we're doing. And our conscience feels a little better at this point that we're telling the users when they go through our store, this is what they're doing." And I think that's the only reason Apple is doing that. I don't think.
Remember, Apple collects a lot of this information as well. As a matter of fact, easily, probably just as much as either Facebook or Google. I think the big difference is they're not monetizing it to other companies. That doesn't necessarily mean that Apple can't or won't use it themselves, but I've yet to hear an example of Apple doing so.
But that's not their business. Facebook and Google's business
Right.
is to sell the ads. Believe me, if all of a sudden iPhones and MacBooks stop selling and their services dwindle a little bit, 20 years from now, they might say, "Listen, we got a place that wants your data, and this place is a reputable place. We trust them, blah blah blah, and then we're going to sell it." That would be their business if that's what they were doing.
Then it would be Chrome to the Future podcast,
right? Facebook doesn't have anything to sell you other than that, more or less. There's nothing else to sell. So
there's nothing else for them to sell.
Right, exactly. Where Apple has other things to sell. Same with Google.
I think that what I find most uncomfortable with Facebook is that they'll accept pretty much anyone's advertising. I had to go through hell recently with, what is the name of the company? PayPal, to get some money back from a fake guitar ad that I saw on Facebook. And I should have known better because, you're not even going to sell a Chinese copy of a, what is the name of that guitar? Not Gibson or
Fender.
No, Rickenbacker. You're not even going to be able to get a Chinese copy of a Rickenbacker guitar for $99. But it was like, oh, they might. This might be real. It might be real. And I tried it, and within probably a couple of weeks, I realized it's okay. No, this was complete and utter BS, and had to go through a lot to cancel it and get my money back. And I don't know if PayPal ate those costs or how that worked.
Well,
but
just like credit cards.
I see these same kinds of ads all the time on Facebook. Where there was a MacBook, selling MacBook ads for $99. There was absolutely no way that was a real ad.
Well, some are. It's no different than going to Wish or Alibaba or something like that. It's the same garbage. So that's.
But see, Wish and Alibaba, these are companies that have existed for a while. They're actual real companies that you can reach out and contact. A lot of these companies basically set themselves up in some country that it's impossible to get any information on them through. It's like setting up a corporation through Delaware. Eventually all roads lead to Delaware kind of thing. And so they put these ads out there and make as much money as they can from people stupid enough like me to think that it's possible to get a Rickenbacker guitar for $99. And then they disappear and they have your money and there's nothing that you can do about it.
I'm sure Facebook does like a very little amount of investigation, make sure that it's not a complete, they have some kind of database where they're like, this is not
and
known
security
scam.
too.
Yeah, and there'll be like something. This is not going to be a porn thing, where this is not going to be something like some kind of a hack thing. You know, I'm sure there's something that goes in there, but that's their thing. They're selling it to these small companies, and some are legit and some aren't. That want to send you something. I bought things off the Facebook advertisements before. I bought a watch band, which was crap, but it looked good. But it was $15. You take a chance. I mean,
yeah,
it's not much different than Wish. You got to Wish, and you have things that on there look like it looks like a iPad, and you get it and it's like junk. So you take a risk.
Came out of a box of Lucky Charms. All right, well I think that's going to do it for this evening. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Before we go, Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do so?
Find me on In Touch with iOS at the intouchwithios.com website for the podcast with Warren, and got Jeff Gamet coming on the show tomorrow. And you can also find me on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network here as well as Mac Voices Live on Tuesday nights on Facebook.
That's a fun show.
On their group. We're having a lot of fun doing that. And I'm also on Twitter at DaveG65.
Okay, Warren?
Yeah, something like that. Whatever Dave said, and Facebook and Mac to the Future, and sometimes here.
Sometimes here. It's like the vowels A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
exactly
Very
like
good. That's how things work. All right. If you'd like to get a hold of me, guy@mymac.com. The website is vertshark.com. You can also find me on the mymac.com podcast with Gazmaz. We do that almost every single weekend, as well as Guy's Daily Drive, where I do the ridiculous thing of driving in my car and creating podcasts because I can. Boom, ba-da-da-da. Turn on the radio. Boom, ba-da-da-da.
I'm looking at my iPod mini. I don't know why.
I say fire. Ba, 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 psh,
I say stuff.
Yeah, I say stuff. I do all the time. If you'd like to help support me saying stuff, go to patreon.com/MacParrot. You can go to ko-fi.com/MacParrot. And lastly, you can pay a pal by going to paypal.me/MacParrot. Really, really would appreciate it. VertShark for all of the various audios and videos that I do, as well as you can go to YouTube and just look up VertShark there, and then like, share, subscribe. Did you guys see that the first time? Did you see it? Like, share, subscribe. And I blurred my camera. I'm living large with a blurred camera. But I think that is going to do it again for tonight. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Warren. And we will see all of you, all of you. Ow, don't do that. It hurts your hand. Next time, right here on the Mac to the Future livecast. Go.
Got to update the year.
Oh, that's right. I do. I'm not looking forward to that at all. I don't have the original file because I did it in, I think I told you guys this. I did it in Adobe Premiere Elements like a long time ago. And I still had that program on my Intel iMac. So for 2020, I updated it then. But I think I'll have to make a brand new one in, what is the name of that program that I have? DaVinci Resolve. And it is. I mean, but to recreate the whole thing again is kind of like, ugh. So, So I'll need to probably dedicate 5-6 hours to putting that together.
Do one slide?
No,
You
well,
have
it's
to do
more
the
than
whole-
that.
Oh,
You gotta do
the
the
whole outro.
Yeah. And that can be a pain in the neck, but that's okay. Cause it probably needs to be done anyway, since I've moved to a different video editor.
Yep.
All right, guys. Is Dancing with the Stars still on? Is that still a thing?
The
gonna watch
Masked
some-
Dancer.
That
What
I
is
don't
it?
watch. There's Masked Dancer. It's like the Masked Singer, but it's with dancing. I don't watch that one. We're dry now. We just finished Queen's Gambit, and now we don't know what to do. So
Yeah. How is that? Somebody was telling me that was actually pretty good.
we
I watched
binged
I watched Virgin River.
actually Cobra Kai is the last one we just did.
Cobra
So
Kai. I just watched that too.
we did the Cobra Kai, and then we did Queen's Gambit.
They just
before that.
they just finished the third season of that.
Third season.
Cobra Kai. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's on. Is that on Amazon or Hulu now?
It's on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Netflix, because it was on YouTube TV.
it was on
so I wasn't
YouTube.
watching it there.
It was on YouTube Red. You had to pay for it. So
Right. Part of the premium. I already paid for that.
So I actually got a free you got a free like month. So we binged it all in the one free month that time, and then I went to Amazon to Netflix. So now it's there. So and it's good.
Yeah, I pay for you. It was included the YouTube premium. I pay for that $10 a month because I can't stand the ads in YouTube.
Do you? Yeah, I'm thinking about it only because if I'm watching YouTube video and I want to use my phone,
And then being able to multitask.
yeah.
There's a way around it, but
Is there? Yeah, if you use a browser, is that what it is, or something like that?
those cockamamie way.
Yeah, it's never worth it.
All right, guys.
Alrighty.
Yep, we're gonna go, everyone. So if you're still
Goodbye.
watching, thank you one more time for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye. Bye.